Okay, so this is our first experiment, which is the testing of the earth fault relay. Now here our objective is that you people first you need to understand what is called the electromechanical relay, then the operating principle of the electromechanical relay, then what type of relay is used as a earth fault, then what is called the earth fault, and the two most important things are there, which is called the time setting multiplier and clock setting multiplier. So how to set the time setting multiplier and clock setting multiplier in electromechanical relay to decide the required operating time of the relay. So these are our objectives. So we'll definitely discuss all these things in detail in this particular lab. Now coming to this one, this is the connection diagram of the earth fault relay. Okay. Now here what you need to do, this is the same thing which you will find in the experimental table. Now this is one MCB is there and this 230 volt is coming from the wall socket. Now here this thing is called the three-way two-pole switch. That means this switch has two position. One is upward position, middle position, and the downward position. So if the switch position is in the middle, then all these three terminals LNT, this LNT and this LNT are disconnected from each other. Now if I press it upward direction, then this side LNT terminals will be short circuited to that LNT terminal. So this is the common terminal, and if the switch position is in the upward, then this side will be short circuited to the common terminals, and if the switch position is in the downward, then this common terminal will be short circuited to that one. For the earth fault relay, we just need to put the switch in the downward position, so that here T1 should be short circuited with T3, N1 should be short circuited with N3, and similarly L1 will be short circuited to the L3 terminals. Now in the same experimental table, we can experiment two relays. One is the under voltage relay and the earth fault relay. But for this particular experiment, the under voltage relay is not required. So these are the terminal which is left open. Now this is one digital timer. So this digital timer has four terminals, two for the on and two for the off. So if I give a short circuit pulse on the on terminals, then the timer will start counting. And if I give a short circuit pulse in the off terminals, then the timer will stop. So here you see these on terminals are connected to T1 and T3. So that means if I put the switch in the downward position, then there will be a short circuit pulse in the on terminals of the timer. So the timer start counting, and these off terminals are connected to the 3 and 4s of the earth fault relay. So these are nothing but the trip signals. So when the relay sense as a fault and when the relay generate the trip signal, then 3 4 will be short circuited, and this short circuit pulse will connected to the off terminals of the timer, and timer will stop counting. So that means this timer indicates the relay operating time. Now what is called the relay operating time? Relay operating time means the time elapsed between the relay senses the fault and relay generates the trip signal. So the times required between these two events is called the relay operating time. Relay sense the fault, and after sensing the fault it generates the trip signals. That is the function of the relay. This trip signal goes to the circuit breaker, and circuit breaker disconnects some faulty portions of the power system from the healthy systems. So the function of the relay is to detect the fault and to initiate the trip signal which is required to operate the circuit breaker. Now here you see that this relay, this ammeter and the load are connected in series. Okay, and variac is required to give the variable voltage here. Now as a load, here we use a transformer. Now you know the transformer has two sides. So one is the low voltage and one is the high voltage side. And as the power is constant in low voltage and high voltage side of the transformer, so that means the voltage current multiplication is remain same. So that means in the low voltage side, we connect it to the relay coil. We connect it in series with the relay coil, and in the high voltage side, we connect it to the variac. So that means if I increase the voltage in the high voltage side, then similarly the low voltage side current will also increase, and this current will be treated as the fault current, because here in every experiment on the relay, we need to create an artificial fault. Okay, so what is the fault? Fault means a condition where the current is increases, because this is a series fault. So that means current is in. This is a shunt fault. So in case of shunt fault, the current will increases compared to the normal operating current. So this increased current can be supplied by the transformer, and this is called the artificial fault. So using this procedure, we can increase the amount of current, and this current will passes through the relay coil. Relay senses it as a fault and relay work accordingly. So this is our main purpose. Okay. Now these are the procedure. We will explain the procedure in the real experimental table later on. These are the apparatus required table. Then some reports are there. Now this is called the data table. Here you see that we need to take 5 readings. First is the time setting multiplier value. So as I mentioned, that relay operating time can be controlled by a dial put on the relay, which is called the time setting multiplier dial. The dial value is from 0.1 to 1.0. So according to the requirement, you set the dial as your requirement. So this is the time setting multiplier value. Then the clock setting. Clock setting is also put in the relay itself. So the clock setting for the Artfall relay is starting from 0.2 to 0.8. So according to the requirement, the user can set the clock setting as he or she required. Then the secondary current means the how much current is flowing to the relay coil. This is directly measured from the ammeter connected in the relay. Then the plug setting multiplier value. Now, what is called the plug setting multiplier? So this plug setting multiplier is nothing but the secondary current by the plug setting. Okay, we'll discuss this later definitely. Then this is the plug setting multiplier value. Then operating time, it can be measured directly from the timer, digital timer put on the board, and time from the characteristic curve mean we will definitely discuss another thing which is called the IDMT characteristics curve. So from the curve we can get the relay operating time, and here our aim is that just tally the two reading. That means how much time is actually required and how much time theoretically required by the delay. So this is our aim. Here you see this is the IDMT characteristics curve, and we'll definitely discuss later on what is the meaning of that IDMT characteristics curve. Okay. So now let's understand the basic operation of the relay circuit. Here, this is the generator bus bar, and from the generator bus bar, the feeders are connected, and the function of the feeder is to bring the power from the generator bus bar to the load center. Load centers are connected here. As this one is feed the electricity from the generator bus to the load center, that's why it is called the feeder. Now, this feeder is controlled by this switch, but this switch is normally closed. So as this switch is closed, so that means in the normal healthy condition, when there is no fault in the power systems, power can able to flow from the generator bus to the load through this feeder because this switch is normally closed. And one CT is also connected here, and the secondary of the CT is connected to the one of the coil. The name of the coil is relay coil. RC means it's a relay coil. So during the normal operating condition, when there is no fault, normal current is flowing to the feeder, then the CT secondary is always energized. CT secondary is also carries some current, but this current will not able to produce such amount of electromagnetic force, which is responsible to move the plunger in the downward direction. So as the plunger is not moves in the downward direction, so this normally open switch remains open during the normal operating condition, and so that the tripping coil is not closed, so power is not able to flow, the current is not able to flow from the battery to the tripping coil. So that means this normally closed switches remain normal. Now let's see what happened in case of fault. Now this is a symbol of the fault. Now if a fault presents in this position, then what happened, as it's a short circuit fault, that means the current is increases rapidly, and this increased current is also reflects in the CT secondary. Now the CT secondary and the relay coil also carries more amount of current during the fault, short circuit fault. Now, as relay coil carries more amount of current during the fault, now the electromechanical force is also increases. Now, this increased amount of force is now able to move the plunger in the downward direction. So, as the plunger is moving the downward direction, then this normally open switches become closed. And as the switches become closed, the tripping circuit is complete, and current is flow from the battery to the tripping coil, and tripping coil is energized, and as the tripping coil is energized, the coil attracts this plunger in that direction, showing by the red arrow. So as the plunger is attracted by the tripping coil in this direction, this normally closed switch become open. So that means you see, as soon as the fault is present in the systems, then the normally closed switch is become open. So that means a disconnection is there, and that's why the power is not able to flow to the generator bus to this fault. So that means the apparatus connected here are being safe, because no harmful current will able to flow to this particular fault and also through the apparatus. So in this way the circuit breakers and the relay operates. So relay is actually sensing the fault. After sensing the fault, it generates a trip signal, and trip signals goes to the circuit breaker. Circuit breaker is actually control that switch. Okay, so this is the called the basic relay circuits. This is relay coil. RC means the relay coil. This is TC means the tripping coil. This is normally closed switch. It will open definitely automatically in case of fault, and this is normally open circuit, and during the fault this switch remain become closed to complete the tripping coil.
Hello everybody, let's see the operation of the electromechanical induction type relay. So this is the nameplate of the relay. Here it is written that this is the arc fault relay and it's inverse type, and type of the relay is CDG. Now what is the meaning of that CDG? C means it's a current operated relay, D means it's a disc type relay, because you see some aluminum discs are there. So this is the second one, disc type relay, and G means the relay characteristics follow the IDMT curve. Now later on I will explain what is called the IDMT characteristics of the relay and also the inverse type relay. Now this is the model number, serial number, auxiliary voltage CT secondary, here it is 1 ampere. So that means the relay should be powered on through a CT, because relay is a low power device and it should be connected to a CT, after the CT where the secondary current of the CT should be 1 ampere. And the relay can be operated at 0.8, 0.2 to 0.8 amperes, 50 hertz. So this is the current characteristics of the relay. Now here you see one table form is there. So this is nothing but the plug setting multiplier versus the operating time of the relay. So when I will explain the IDMT characteristics of the relay, you will understand these things better. Now this is called the plug settings of the relay. So here you see some small holes are there, and just below the hole some current rating is written. So as it is mentioned that the relay can be operated from 0.2 to 0.8 ampere. So that means here you see 0.2 is there, 0.3 up to 0.8 ampere is there. So this is the relay operating current. That means if this is the plunger, so if I short circuit this one 0.2, that means 0.2 ampere are now connected to the relay as the relay operating current. So that means if the relay current through the relay goes beyond 0.2 ampere, then the relay should operate. Now as this is the arc fault relay, so the current rating of the relay should be very small. The relay is connected in series with the path where the earth is connected, and if some leakage current will flow to the earth, and if the current is more than 0.2 ampere, then the relay should operate. Okay, so this is the plug setting of the relay. Okay. Now this is a overcurrent relay. Overcurrent relay means the actuating quantity of the relay is current. If the current is beyond some prescribed limit, so this is nothing but the limits, then the relay should operate. Now come to this one. Here you see this is the relay coil. So this is the relay coil, and here you see so many tappings are there, and these tappings is brought in the front panel. So that means these are connected here. So that means the same relay sometime operated at 0.2 ampere, sometime operated at 0.5 ampere, sometime operated at 0.8 ampere. So that means a same relay can be operated according to the requirement of the user. It may be operated at lower value of the current, and it may be operated at the higher value of the current. The range is 0.2 to 0.8 ampere. So how this thing is done? This thing is done through the tappings only. So this is the relay coil. This one is the relay coil, and so many tappings are there, and based on the tapping, sometimes the relay is operated at 0.2 ampere, sometimes the relay is operated at 0.8 ampere. Now from this one a core is there. This is the core, and this core is splitted. Here you see the core is splitted. This is the unshaded pole, and that one is the shaded pole. This is the shaded part. Let me show you. That is the shaded part. Okay, so this one is the shaded part. So that means the flux which is generated by the unshaded pole and the shaded poles have a flux difference due to that the phase difference due to that shaded rings connected here, and due to the interaction of these two fluxes some force exists on the aluminum disc, and the disc start rotating, and as the disc start rotating it contain two things. One is this one. Okay, Now this one means what? Here you see, this is the portion which is the tripping, which is actually connected to the tripping coil of the relay. Now this one is normally open. You see, this is normally open. When the disc is start rotating, so along with the disc, this one is also rotates, and ultimately this one creates some pressure on the this normally open tripping coil, and the tripping coil become closed. So once the tripping coil become closed, then the current is able to flow to the tripping coil, and this is nothing but a solenoid type relay. So it attract the plunger in the towards it, and when it attract the plunger, the flag is going down automatically, and this one is become short circuited. That is also the contacts which is connected to the circuit breaker. Now this one is normally open, but when the solenoid type relay attract the plunger towards it, this one become closed, like this one. Okay, or you can see if I push these things like this, so you see, so in this way the relay operates. Now that means inside a relay two coils are there. One is relay coil, another is the tripping coil of the relay. Relay coil is operated in AC, but the tripping coil is operated in DC to make always a unidirectional force. So how the DC is produced? So here you see one rectifier is there. Now using this rectifier, bridge rectifier, the AC is converted to DC, and this DC is supplied here. Okay. So this is the tripping coil of the relay. That is the relay coil of that particular electromechanical relay. Now this is called electromechanical relay because this is a mechanical device, and this device is working on the electrical principle. That's why this is called a electromechanical relay, and this is the first generation of the relay. Now here, this is, as I mentioned, this is called plug setting. Plug setting means this is the preset value of the current. If the current passes through the relay coil is more than that one, then the relay will trip, generate the trip signal. Generate the trip signal means it will short circuit that terminals, and one trip signal is generated, that signal will activate the circuit breaker. Now here, apart from this one, you see one another dial is there. So this is called the time setting multiplier of the relay. So this is called the time setting multiplier. Now what is the meaning of the time setting multiplier? Here you see that due to some reason we don't want the instantaneous relay. Intentionally some time delay is provided to the relay. It means that, say if the current, now it is connected at 0.2. Okay, so if the current is more than 0.2, it is expected that the relay should operate. Relay should generate the trip signal, but it should not generate the trip signal instantaneously if the things are connected here. That means as it is connected to 0.4, so the time setting multiplier is 0.4 right now. So after some time the relay will generate the trip signal. So in this way some intentional delay is there. So when the current is more than the preset value of the current, after that intentional time given to the relay will generate the trip signal. So why this time is required? Because so many faults are there in the power system which is transient in nature. That means it seems a fault, but after some time, after some cycles rather, the fault is automatically die down. So that means no relay operation is required, and within this time nothing is happened, nothing is hampered, no overcurrent is flowed to the circuit. So whatever be the apparatus are there which is able to accept that current in that short time. It's a very small time, in milliseconds obviously, few cycles. So in that time if the relay generate the trip signal, then circuit breaker unnecessarily trip the line. Then after some time if the fault is cleared, then circuit breaker you need to send some personnel to the circuit breaker, and they need to reconnect the circuit breaker. So some time is wasted beyond that one. So that's why intentional time is given. So within this time if the fault is cleared, then the relay will not generate the trip signal. So that means this is called the time setting multiplier. Time setting multiplier means using this one we can adjust the relay operating time, and using this one we can operate the relay operating current. Now how this thing is worked? So this is a dial, and you see this dial is actually contains some projected parts here, and another thing is here, this thing. Now this one is actually the backstop. Due to that arrangement the disc is not able to move further beyond that point because it is connected here. So that means, and this one is actually adjusting the distance between that part and this ultimate tripping signal. So here you see now in that moment the disc is need to rotate only this distance to trip the meter or generate the trip signal. But if I move the time setting multiplier in the clockwise directions, then you see that part goes beyond, and here the relay need to travel a lot to generate the trip signal. So that's why just adjusting the backstop of this disk position, or the setting the initial position of the disks, we can adjust the time of operation of the relay. So these are the spring section. Some spiral springs are there because due to that spring, after the relay operation, it ensures that when the actuating force is not present, the disc is again come to the initial positions. So the spring is ensured that one. So this is the construction of the electromechanical type relay, and this is the induction relay because the disc is rotating due to the induction.
Now, this is the construction of the electromechanical type relay. And for example, we are taking a hard fault relay. Now, let's see the what are the component used in this relay. This is the nameplate of the relay. This one is called plug setting of the relay. Here, different types of plug settings are there according to the settings of the relay. Here, it is starting from 0.8 to 0.8. This is for one example. So that plug setting is used for the hard fault relay. In overcurrent relay, maybe the plug settings are different. Now, this is called the time setting multiplier. Okay, this is the time setting multiplier, and it started from point 1 to 1. This is the aluminum disc. That portion is called the relay coil. I will explain the relay coil later. And this is the code of the relay, and this is one solenoid relay which is generated the trip signal. Come to this one, this is the nameplate of the relay. So as per the name, it is the hard fault relay, and this is the inverse type relay. The type of the relay is CDG. C means it's a current operated relay. D means Dix type. G means IDMT characteristics relay. So that means as it's a current operated relay, so that means to actuate the relay we need to give the current as an input of the relay. D means one aluminum disc is there, so you see that one aluminum disc is there. So if the current is more than the preset value of the current, aluminum disc start rotating and it will generate the trip signal. So that's why the G means a disc type relay. D means, and last G means it's follow the IDMT characteristics. Later on I'll explain you what is called the IDMT characteristics of the relay. Now coming to this one, as in this relay two coils are there. One is called the tripping coil, another is called the relay coil. This one is the delay coil. And you see from the relay coil, so many tappings are there. So at different portion, the tappings are connected to the front panel. So that means using some of the tappings, the same type of relay sometime operated at say lower value of the current. For example, in this particular relay, it may be 0.2, 0.3, or sometime at different value of the current, it may be 0.7, zero point 0.8 like that. So that means according to the settings, according to the requirement, the user can set a different current to the relay just using this tapping. These are the tappings, and tappings is bring to the front channel like here. So these tappings are connected here. So that means if you select through this knob particular hole, so that means now the relay is operated at 0.2 ampere. If you put it here, if you just move the plunger in that particular hole, then it will operate it at 0.3 ampere. Similarly, zero point 0.4, zero point 0.5 like to up to 0.8. So that means this relay is able to operate it at 0.2 ampere to zero point 0.8 ampere. Coming to this one, here auxiliary voltage CT secondary is 1 ampere, so that means the relay should be connected to a CT whose secondary current is 1 ampere, and the relay can be operated at 0.2 to 0.8 ampere as I explained here. It's a 50 hertz relay. That table I will explain it later. This is nothing but the plug setting multiplier versus the operating time of the relay. So using a graph or using a picture, we can explain the table later on. So that is called the uh, inverse type CTG relay. Now coming to this one, here you see this is one dial. So that dial can be rotated in the clockwise or anti-clockwise manner, and some markings are there. Presently, this one is fixed at say 0.44 like this one. So that means using this dial we can control the operating time of the relay. So why you need to control the operating time of the relay? Means that if the current sensed by the relay is more than the current setting value of this particular relay, then the relay should operate and it should generate a trip signal which will activate the circuit breaker. Now sometimes we purposefully introduce some delay after the current exits the preset value. Why? Because most of the faults are there in the power system which is in transient in nature. So that means it seems like a fault, but within 2 to 3 cycles the fault is automatically tied down, and it doesn't require any protection scenario for that one in power system, because the apparatus which is connected in the power systems can withstand this high amount of current for 2 to 3 cycles. Nothing will happen. So that's why sometimes we put some intentional delay to that one. And also sometimes the relay can be operated instantaneously, means as soon as the current is reaches beyond the set value of the current to the relay, then instantly it will generate a trip signal. So based on the application, based on the where you want to install the protection, based on the apparatus, where do you want to protect this one, so sometimes the relay operated at instantly, sometimes some purposefully delays are there. So these delay can be set here. So how to set the delay? Here you see, this one is actually the spindle of the disk. So when the disk is start rotating, then this spindle is also start rotating. And here you see, this is the normally open switch. So this normally open switch is actually connected to the tripping coil. So that means when the switches become closer, when this particular portion become closed, then only the DC power will come to the this solenoid type tripping coil and it will energized. Okay. So this is one normally closed switch is also there. So this spindle carries that elongated part, that projected part, and when the disc rotates, the spindle as well as this portion is also rotated. So ultimately, this portion touches here and it creates a pressure on that particular two portions, and ultimately it becomes closed, and then only the tripping coil is energized. Now here you see that particular dial carries one projected parts also, and this portion is touches to that projected part. So this is actually called the backstop of the disk. So that means disk is not free to rotate. Some portion is there. Beyond that portion, the disk is not able to move due to that particular projected parts from that dial and these arrangements. Now, if we move it in the anti-clockwise direction, that means point 2, point 3, then you see that portion is coming here. And as these elongated parts is coming here, so that means this portion is come very closer to that one. So that means travel time is very low. And as the travel time is very low, so that means the relay will operate at lower ampere, lower time, lower operating time. And if we move it in the clockwise direction, then you see this portion is goes in that position, and so that this portion need to travel a lot to close that particular switch. So that means in this way, just changing the initial position from where the disk start moving, we can control the relay operating time. So that is controlled by this particular disk. That's why the name of this thing is a time setting multiplier. So as you see, this portion need to be closed by that particular arrangement, and this is the backstop. And due to that one, that this disk is not able to move beyond that point. And as this is called the initial position or the backstop, so if you just adjust the position of this backstop, then sometimes the relay need a long time to operate or to generate the trip signal, and sometimes the relay needs very short time to operate the trip signal. So this is controlled by this dial, which is called the time setting multiplier. Now, as I mentioned that the trip signal required a DC power, so that means this is a rectifier, and using this rectifier, the AC is converted to DC, and this DC is supplied to the tripping coil. So once the tripping circuit is closed by the disk or the arrangement by the disk, then the power from DC power from that rectifier will flow to the tripping coil, and tripping coil generate the trip signal. So here you see this is a solenoid type relay. So DC power is required for generating the uniform force or unidirectional force. So this will attract that plunger. One small plunger is there inside this one. So once the DC power is flowing through this one, this plunger is attracted towards it, and once it is attracted, this black portion is goes up, and once the black portion is goes up, the normally open switch become closed. So you see this is a normally open switch, no connection is there, but when this one energized, this will attract the plunger towards it, so this black portion goes up, and it will ultimately short circuit this particular portion, and the trip signal will generate, which will activate the circuit breaker later on. And this is the plunger. This one is the plunger which will be attracted by the solenoid type tripping coil once the this portion is closed by that particular arrangement. And this is called the flag of the relay. After every operation, the relay flag, if you see this type of symbol is there, so that means relay is already generated the trip signal, and circuit breaker disconnected some portion, faulty portion from the LD system. So after manually clear all these things, you need to manually pull it off. So this thing is means relay actually generated the trip signal. So before the operation of the relay, every time if the flag is goes down, you need to pull it back. You see, this is the normally open switch, which is responsible for closing the tripping coil. So it is normally open. You see two portions are there. One is this one, another is this one, and there is gap between these two things. So that means this is normally open switch. So when this projected parts create some pressure on that particular area, then it will become closed, and the DC power is connected to the tripping coil. Now coming to this one, this is a induction type relay. Induction type relay means that is the relay coil. This black portion is the relay coil, and this is the core. So once the relay coil carries the current, the flux will generated, and the flux is coming to that portion. Now the end portion of the core is splitted up. One portion is unshaded. So here you see nothing is connected here. So that means this is unshaded pole, and one shading ring is there. So this portion is the shading ring. So one shading ring is there, and due to the setting ring, the two fluxes actually split it up. One is here, another is here, and these two fluxes, there is one phase difference between the fluxes, and due to the interaction between the two fluxes, some forces will exert on these particular discs, aluminum discs, and due to that force, aluminum discs start rotating. So this is the induction type relay. So that is the brief introduction to the defined parts and their operation of the electromechanical type relay, electromechanical induction type relay. Now in our lab, we have arc fault relay, we have overcurrent relay. Both the relays by construction are exactly same, only the current ratings are different in the two types of the relay. In overcurrent relay, as it is protected the transmission lines from the overcurrent, so that means the current rating is definitely high. And as the arc fault relay is protecting the leakage earth current, and it is installed in that particular path to prevent that particular scenario, and you see the leakage current as it's very small, so that's why the current rating of that particular earth fault relay is very small. So as you see, the current is started from 0.2 to 0.8, and this one is actually the earth fault relay, so the current rating is small, but by construction, by operating principle, both the relays are exactly same. This is called the IDMT curve of the electromechanical relay. Now this axis is called the plug setting multiplier, and this axis is the relay operating time in seconds. Now what is called the relay operating time? Relay operating time means the instants between the relay senses the fault and relay generate the trip signal are called the relay operating time. So here you see total 10 curves are there. This is the card number 1 and this is the card number 10. So each of the card represent for a particular time multiplier setting. So here you see in the electromechanical relay there is one dial for set the relay operating time. So this is nothing but the time multiplier setting. And if the time multiplier setting is fixed at 1.0, then we have to follow the first curve. If the time multiplier setting is fixed at 0.9, we have to follow the second one. Similarly, if the time multiplier setting is fixed at 0.1, we have to follow the last one. So that's why total 10 curves are there. And this axis, as I mentioned, this is called the plug setting multiplier. Now the plug setting multiplier means it's a relay current divided by the plug settings of the relay. Okay. So it may be 1, it may be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that means here you see the name of the characteristics could be typical time current characteristics of standard 2.2 second ITMT relay. Now why this thing is called 2.2 second? Because you see that if the time multiplier setting is fixed at 1.0, then you see from the first graph that minimum this time is required. So what is the amount of time? So this is nothing but 2.2 seconds. So that means minimum 2.2 second uh, time is required to operate the relay. So that's why this is called the 2.2 second IDMT characteristics. Now This is called the inverse definite minimum time. So why this is called inverse? Because you see that as the nature of the curve is inverse, so that's why this is called inverse characteristic. So as the plug setting multiplier is increases, relay needs small amount of time to operate the to generate the trip signal, because as the time setting multiplier increases, then the fault level of the relay is also increases. So fault level means more amount of fault current will flow through the fault, so this is more dangerous. So that's why for this higher amount of fault level, the relay should generate the trip signal quickly. So that's why the nature of the curve is inverse. If the plug setting multiplier increases, so time of operation of the relay should decrease. Now coming to this one, what is called the definite time, because you see that before doing any experiment from the characteristics curve, we can know that if the time multiplier setting is fixed at 1.0, at least relay should need 2.2 seconds to operate the to generate the trip signal or to operate the relay. So that's why this 2.2 second is fixed. It is predefined, and this is a minimum time. That's why the name inverse definite because it is predefined minimum time, because this 2.2 second is minimum time. So if the time multiplier setting is fixed at 1.0, this relay must need at least 2.2 seconds to operate to generate the trip signals. It is not possible to generate the trip signal before 2.2 seconds if the time multiplier setting is fixed at 1.0. But in some of the applications are there where this 2.2 second is very high. Within this 2.2 second, everything get damaged due to the very high amount of current. So how to control that time? So that's why the total 10 settings are there. If we just throw the time setting multiplier as 0.1, then you see it's required only 0.22 seconds. So that is below the one, or we may say this is the instantaneous time. So as the relay detect the fault instantaneously, or at 0.22 second relay generate the trip signal. So that's why based on the applications, based on the apparatus where we want to install the relay, sometimes we control the time setting multiplier as 1.0, or sometimes we throw it at 0.1. So it's depend upon the user, depend upon the application, depend upon the apparatus or the nature of protection. So this is called the IDMT characteristics of the relay. This is called inverse definite minimum time, because the nature of the curve is inverse. This 2.2 second is predefined or definite, and it is the minimum time. So this is called the IDMT characteristics of the relay.
Let's identify the different component used in this experimental setup. So in the same table there are two experiments can be done. One is the under voltage relay, another is the earth fault relay. So today we are going to discuss about the earth fault relay. So this is the earth fault relay. These are the terminals. Using the sliding contact, we can connect the relay inside this particular position, and these are the terminals of the relay. Now coming to this is the 230 volt AC in. So one variac is there for different variable voltage. MCBs are there. This is one ammeter which can measure the current flowing to the relay coil. Now these are the earth fault relay. So it indicates that when the earth fault relay is connected, this light will glow on. Now this is one switch. So let's identify about the switch. So this is a 3-pole two-way switch. So that means here you see three terminals are there, L, N, T, also L and T is there, also L and T is there. Now if the switch is in middle position, then all the terminals are disconnected from each other. Now if I move the switch in the upward position, then this side terminals are connected to that one. That means L2 will be connected to the L1, N2 will be connected to the N1, T2 will connected to the T1, like this one. And if I press the switch in the downward position, then these side terminals are short circuited with that one. I mean L2L, N2N, T2T, like this one. So these are the switch. Now here from variac is there, means if I move the variac, different voltage will be applied here. Now this is another thing is there which is called the digital timer. So to measure the operating time of the relay, this timer is required. Here you see this is a digital timer and 4 terminals are there, 2 for the on and 2 for the off. Now if I give a short circuit pulse to the on terminals, then the timer will be start, and when it will be stop, when another short circuit pulse will be applied to the off terminals, then it will be off. So this will control by the relay and that will control by the switch, and this is for resetting the timer. So after every operation we need to reset the timer, so for that this switch is there. Now coming to the down position, here you see here 3 transformers are there, transformer number 1, 2 and 3. These 2 transformers are required for the under voltage relay, and this one is only required for the earth fault relay. Here using the short circuit transformer we can give the fault current, because here we simulate the fault. So that means we need to increase the amount of current required by the relay. So that means how to increase the current? So there is a short circuit transformer is there, and using the transformer we can increase the current as if a fault is there which is sensed by the relay. So this transformer is used as a load, and that 2 transformers are for the under voltage relay, because in the under voltage relay 30 volt DC is required, one of the coil, and also 110 volt AC is also required. So this one is for converting the AC to 30 volt DC, and that one is for converting the 230 volt AC to 110 volt AC, which is required by the under voltage relay. Okay, that one. Now coming to the back side of the panel, so here you see this is one, as I mentioned, this is the ammeter, this is the digital ammeter. So one CT is required. So in the CT primary the main current will flow, and in the CT secondary some conversion ratio that will convert into the digital value and it will reflect to the display panel. So that means as the digital circuit works on a very low amount of current, so that's why the CT is required for converting the current. This is one contactor. So contactor means, as I mentioned, relay is a very low power device which is not able to switch on or switch off any load here. So that means relay is controlled to this contactor, and this contactor can handle the actual loads. So in the when the substations are there, so this relay will be definitely controlled by circuit breaker. But as here the power requirement is low, so that's why circuit breaker is not installed here, rather one air contactor is there. That one is the MCB, and this is the back panel of the relay. Here the terminals are there. Some terminals are not required here, that's why some are left blank, and some terminals are required according to the circuit diagram. This is the casing of the relay, and this is the breather. So that means, and one filter is also there. So that means the dust from the external atmosphere should not go inside to that one. That's why the breather is there. So these are the different parts of the component which is required to do the experiment. Now let's connect the circuit according to the circuit diagram, then we will perform the experiment. Now the connections are made according to the circuit diagram exactly. So the procedure for this one is that this is the selector switch. So if I press the selector switch in the downward position, then these 3 terminals will be short circuited to that one, and the current will be flow through that particular relay. So the relay current can be measured by the ammeter, and using the timer. So just to reset the timer. So using the timer we can get the relay operating time. So here you see the plug setting of the relay is now 0.2. So that means if the current flowing to that particular relay will be 0.2 ampere, then only the relay will be operated, the disk will be moved. Now you see that the disk is stationary because the variac is in the 0 position, so no voltage will be applied across the relay, so current will not be able to flow to the relay, so that's why the relay is static. So procedure is that first we need to put the selector switch in the downward position. Then we need to give some voltage so that the required current will flow through that relay. So I am just moving the variac, and let's see the operation of the relay. So here you see that till now there is no current flowing through the relay. 0.1, you see as the current is 0.2, the disk is started very slowly moving. Okay, so that it's at the threshold value, so disk is started moving, and if I increase the value of current, the disk will move faster. And you see the relay is actually short circuited the tripping coil, so the plug goes down, and this will indicate that the relay generates the trip signal already. So procedure is that first you need to put the selector switch in the downward position, then you need to give the required amount of current so that the plug setting multiplier will be 3. So plug setting multiplier, what is the plug setting multiplier? Plug setting multiplier is the relay current by the plug setting. So these are the plug setting. Now the plug setting is 0.2. So that means to make the plug setting multiplier 3, we need to give relay current 0.6. So first I am giving relay current 0.6. So now I am creating the fault using the variac, so that if I now make everything normal, so I disconnect the circuit. As I disconnect the circuit, due to the spring action, the relay again come to the normal position or the initial position. So just pull the plug up. Now I do not touch the variac. So that means if I again move the selector switch in the downward position, then what happened? Then the required amount of voltage will apply to the relay and 0.6 ampere current will flow through that particular relay coil. And as the relay coil current is 0.6 ampere and the plug setting is 0.2, so that means 0.6 by 0.2, so it will give the plug setting multiplier as 3. So now come to this one. So this is the plug setting multiplier 3 and the time setting multiplier is set at 1.0. So that means here first we need to follow the first curve. Okay, and this is the intersection of the first curve and the plug setting multiplier 3, and according to this one 6.2 will be the time required to operate the relay. Okay, now let's see that how much the relay actually giving. That is the theoretical value which we will get from the IDMT characteristics curve, but practically how much time relay will take to generate the trip signal we need to measure. So for that I need to reset the timer again. So for reset the timer, just press and hold this reset switch for a while to make the timer reset. Now I apply the required amount of voltage so that 0.6 ampere current will flow to the relay coil. So just press it and you see the relay is moving, timer is counting the timer, and here you see that 6.858 second is required to operate the relay. That is the actual time taken by the relay to generate the trip signal, and in theoretical it should be 6.2 around. So now you need to find out how much error will be there, or is there any offset or not. And after every operation you see the flag which goes down. This is the relay flag and it will be goes down. So after every operation you need to manually pull it up. Now come to another thing. If I want to make the plug setting multiplier 4, then we need to give the current as 0.8. So now I make the current 0.8. I need to reset all these things. Relay, just wait for the time to come the relay at its initial position. You need to reset the timer before the voltage will be applied to the relay. You need to pull the flag up. Now here the voltage is set, so that means if I switch it on, if I put the selector switch in the downward position, then the required amount of voltage will be applied to the relay and 0.8 ampere current will flow to the relay coil. But according to the tap setting, through the relay, if only 0.2 ampere current will go, then the relay will generate the trip signal. The disc will move and ultimately it close the tripping coil, and tripping coil will generate the trip signal. So for that one, you need to reset the timer and you need to create the pre-fault condition. So pre-fault condition, here we actually know the fault current, because if I just put the selector switch in the downward position, so we know that 0.8 ampere current will flow to the relay coil. This is our fault current. So this is a predefined fault. Now I just apply the fault to the relay and you see the relay is start moving and it will generate the trip signal. Let's see how much time is required. So 5.740 second is required to operate the relay. So that means as the time setting multiplier fixed at 1.0, so the same curve will be taken care, and now in that time the 0.8 will be the relay coil current and 0.2 is the relay plug setting. So plug setting multiplier will be 0.8 by 0.2, so that means 4. So now you have to find out the 4. So that means find out the intersection of this line and the first curve, and from this characteristics curve or IDMT curve you need to find out the theoretical time required to operate the relay, and from this timer you can get the actual relay operating time. So in this way you need to take 5 reading at least to make a characteristics curve or identity characteristics, and this is the operation of the earth fault relay. Now come to another interesting feature. As I mentioned that this plug setting will be required to change the operating current of the relay. That means now the relay will operate at 0.2. If I put the plunger in that particular hole, then it will operate at 0.3. So the same relay can be operated at 0.2 to 0.8 according to the requirement of the user. Another thing is that how to control the relay operating time. So the relay operating time can be set using this dial. This is called the time multiplier setting. So now the time multiplier setting is fixed at 1.0. Now let's see how to change the relay operating time. So I now move the plug setting multiplier to set the plug setting multiplier at 0.5. So here you see now it is set at 0.5. Okay, 0.5. So obviously the relay will take less time to operate. Okay, same settings are there. Same settings are there. So that means relay coil current is 0.8 ampere if I just put the switch in the downward position. So everything will be same. The plug setting multiplier will be 4. But now I just change the time setting multiplier from 1.0 to 0.5. Now let's see how much time is required. Initially it was I think 5.7 second was required to operate the relay when the time setting multiplier fixed at 1.0. Now it is set at 0.5. So just switch on the relay. So relay moves, generate the trip signal, and now you see that only 3.171 second is required to operate the relay. So that means the time of operation can be controlled using that dial, which is called the time setting multiplier, and the relay operating current can be controlled by the plug setting. So this is the plug setting and this is the time setting multiplier. So in this way all the relays are operated. So one single electromechanical relay not only fixed for a particular current or time. So according to the requirement of the user, according to the protection, the apparatus which need to be protect, the time of operation as well as the current through the relay can be controlled using these two settings.